Hello, and welcome to the mid-year freakout book tag. I got a lot of the prompts from Sarah Caroli and thought of a few myself, so it's going to be a good mix. So let's get right into it with the best book yet so far of 2025, and that's going to be Heartless Hunter by Kristen Ciccarelli. I've said this before, but it kind of reminds me of the Shatter Me series in that the chapters are short and it reads really fast. I felt like everything was just kind of moving along really great and keeping me really interested. There's a love triangle, which I was like, wow, this is kind of cute. And I also like that I can see both sides. And what I mean by that is our female main character is a witch. But in this book, in this society, the witches are being hunted. And the main male character is a witch hunter. So obviously they're going to be at odds with each other. And most obviously not going to be on the same side. I just kind of like the dilemma and it was fun to read about. And I just like that I'm not really rooting for a particular side. And I could just kind of sit back and relax and let the author decide what's going to happen. But yeah, I gave this a 6 stars. I don't know if I've ever done that before, but it was such a fun read and I just really enjoyed it. The best sequel. Okay, so I technically have only read one sequel so far this year, and that's going to be Fearless by Lauren Roberts. And it was a pretty okay read, not bad. I think it was actually a little better than the first book. I don't know, she just matured as an author for me. And I know that the ending had a lot of controversial opinions, but in general, I felt like the book was a good read. And it was just quite nice to just kind of wrap things up. But overall, I wouldn't say it's my favorite fantasy series ever. Just, it was a nice, okay catch-up read. New releases I haven't read yet, but want to. Okay, does anybody else follow the whole Hermione fanfic? Because I have that all over my page. Yeah, it's basically Draco from Harry Potter and Hermione, and they just have that. They just have a lot of people rooting for them to be together, and there's a bunch of fanfics made out of that. And you know, it's quite well known that Emma Watson, who played Harry Potter. And also, you know, it's quite well known that Emma Watson, who played Hermione in Harry Potter, had a huge crush on Draco Malfoy, which is Tom Felton. But that is to say that I have 2 books that I want to read. They are both Hermione fanfics. The Irresistible Urge to Fall in Love with Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley and Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. They are both adult fantasy fiction, so please beware, read the trigger warnings. But if you're interested, in The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, Hermione is a healer and Draco is an assassin. Well, there's this like sickness going around in their society, and Draco contracts that sickness. She heals him, and then after she heals him, they just kind of take on the responsibility, I think, of healing their entire society of this sickness. Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. That one, I think Hermione is like a princess level, and she basically gets captured, stripped of her magic, and then auctioned off to Draco, and Draco's family is just known for being a really cruel family, and they just both sounds very interesting. Both books are going to be enemies to lovers romance. Obviously, I'm a Harry Potter fan, so I'm really excited for this. But just remember that they're not going to have Hermione and Draco names in the book, as obviously they would need a license from Harry Potter. But just know that it's a fanfic of Hermione. But as for the reviews, I've seen mixed reviews, so I'm a little bit nervous. However, I do want to read them and see for myself if I like it or not. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So this first half of the year, it was full of a bunch of great books, and it's a great year for book releases. And the second half of the year is going to be no different. In particular, I am personally very much anticipating Lynn Painter's new book called Fake Skating. Yes, it's going to be a fake dating trope. Basically, they were friends when they were younger. She moves away, and then when she comes back to their hometown, she finds out that he's this hunky hockey player now, and for some reason, they have to start fake dating. I'm not sure why. But anything with the fake dating trope, I'm usually anticipating because I think that's one of my favorite tropes. But yeah, that comes out on September 20th. And I'm also anticipating another book. It's by Tahera Mafi. It's called Every Spiral of Hate by Tahera Mafi. And it's going to be the 4th book in the This Woven Kingdom series. I don't know if you can see that up there, the yellow book over there. Which I haven't even started reading that series yet, even though I have it, because I haven't even finished the Shatter Me series yet. I have so many books to catch up on. But even though I haven't started the This Woven Kingdom series yet, I'm still really anticipating it because Tahera Mafi's writing, I don't know, it's just so quick and fast paced, just like I said with the Heartless Hunter. I've never heard a bad review for This Woven Kingdom yet, and in general, any of Tahera Mafi's books, so I'm very much anticipating those. And Every Spiral of Fate comes out on September 30th. I think this cover is my favorite cover out of the entire any of Tahera Mafi's books ever. This is my favorite. Biggest surprise is gonna be Battle of the Bookstores by Ali Brady. This is a new author to me because it's two different authors, like a Christina Lauren situation. But I guess I just wasn't really expecting much from this book because it's so completely new. I didn't know what to expect at all. I read it when it kind of came out. But yeah, just based on the cover, I was just kind of expecting just this like lighthearted read of like, okay, hopefully it's just going to be a little palate cleanser. And at the very least, I'll just enjoy reading it and move on. But this one, it kind of sticks with me even till now. I think of like the different scenarios that happen in there. I won't lie, at the beginning of the book, I kind of was like not really feeling it. I didn't think it was going to be a good book. But as I was reading it, I was like, this is kind of pretty good, not bad. I kind of really liked and appreciated the realistic aspects of it, which I said in my reading vlog in the last video. It just ended up being an unexpected good read, like not bad. Favorite new author, debut or new to you? And that is going to be Kristen Ciccarelli because she wrote The Heartless Hunter and I was like, wow, this is a really good book. But also, I kind of just looked into her backlog and there's this Iskari series that she wrote as well and they have really good reviews. So I'm wanting to check that out as well. But yeah, Kristen Ciccarelli, she is a most recent add to my favorites list. Books that made me cry. Okay, so there is one book that got me pretty teary-eyed, and that's gonna be The Love Haters by Catherine Center. I actually filmed when I was getting teary-eyed. I caught that on film. But yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I don't know, Catherine Center just has a way of like, it's like this lighthearted romance book that I want to enjoy for a good time, but then I don't realize that she's like packing this book with a bunch of like different really meaningful scenarios, and then it just punches you out of nowhere. And then I started kind of getting teary-eyed. And in particular in this book, it was a scene with the male main character and his brother. And I have no personal experiences that even relate to what they went through. And I still was like, really just emotionally torn. On the other hand, books that made you happy, and I'm gonna give that to Change of Heart by Fallon Ballard. I think this is the lighthearted book that I'm looking for. It just never really has like a terrible situation. It's just like a really good pace of a happy-go-lucky thing. Basically, in this book, our female main character is a workaholic and she is transported to this like kind of fictional town. It's like not real. And there she kind of has to listen to this fairy godmother-esque person to complete these missions and do these particular jobs. Only then can she return to her reality. And it just kind of teaches her to slow down and kind of enjoy life. And also, there might be the love of your life right in front of you and she's just not even realizing it. And also with that book too, it kind of started right away. There was only one short chapter with the background and then she just was transported right away. So I really appreciated that. It was like a nice, good read. And I think that's my first Fallon Ballard book, so I'm interested to read more and see what she has to offer. The most beautiful book I've read so far this year is not something I have finished just yet, but I am also in the middle of, and it's gonna be First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. That cover is just so beautiful. The artwork is stunning. I borrowed the book from the library. Honestly, I like looking at it, so I should have just bought it. Maybe I will. I am not too far into the book yet, so as I'm reading it, I'm gonna see if I feel like I would want to reread this in the future and then decide if I want to possibly buy the book. But for now, so far this year, I think that is the best and beautiful cover. I don't know anyone who doesn't like that cover. DNFs did not finish. There are two. I'm so sorry to say. The Rival by Emma Lord. I DNF'd while I was in Korea. I started it and it's an enemies to lovers trope. It wasn't doing anything for me. First of all, I know that the back of the book, the synopsis was kind of like cheesy written. Like for a magazine, it said zine, and from there I kind of had an inkling that I wasn't gonna particularly enjoy it. But I read it anyway because I was interested. I've never read an Emma Lord book. I started reading it, but it was very obvious that only the female main character disliked the male main character, and the male main character was just kind of trying to get along with her and obviously likes her. So it just didn't feel like a realistic scenario because she was just so like, I hate him, why is he even here? And he was kind of like, hi, guess who's here? But also just trying to make nice. So I almost kind of felt bad for him. It almost felt like the fight was only in her head, so it just wasn't like hitting. So yeah, I DNF'd that. And then the second book that I DNF'd so far is gonna be Passion Project by London Sperry. I'm sorry. That book just has like a very melancholy vibe to it. The cover itself was beautiful. I was actually really interested in reading this book, but as I was reading it, it wasn't my vibe, at least not for now. I'm not saying it was poorly written. I just wanted more like a soul-grabbing, beautiful, lyrical writing for that kind of melancholy vibe, but it just wasn't happening, and I just felt like it was just sad to just be sad. And she was just kind of talking about her ex-boyfriend who had passed away and just constantly bringing him up. Book you need to read by the end of the year. I loved The Right Move by Liz Tomford. It's the second book in the Windy City series, so I really want to continue the series. So the next book is going to be Caught Up, and I really want to read that book, at least not even have to finish the series by the end of this year. I just want to continue the series and just keep the momentum. I just really like The Right Move. I'm hoping Caught Up is going to be just as good, if not better. How many 5-star reads this year? Technically 2 and 1 6-star. So the first 5-star read I had was The Love Haters by Catherine Center, and then the second 5-star book was 10,000 Stitches by Olivia Atwater. It is the second book following Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater, and I gave that book a 5 stars too. So 2 5-star books in one series. And then obviously I told you the 6-star read is going to be The Heartless Hunter. A book with mixed reviews you loved. That is also going to go to The Heartless Hunter because I know people who don't like that book but also really love that book. So maybe that's the most controversial book so far. 5-star predictions for the rest of the year. I am predicting that I will give Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid a 5-star review. I've also been hearing a lot of good things about Quicksilver by Callie Hart, and I'm interested in reading that too. I don't even know the synopsis yet, but for some reason I feel like I'm gonna give it a 5 stars. I was really just like not interested in reading that book because of the cover. It was just, I don't like those types of covers with the people on them, but they're coming out with a reprint and it's not going to have any face of a human whatsoever. So I might be interested in purchasing that one. And I believe the new cover is going to be released on August 19th. A pretty book you plan on reading? Okay, this one, obviously very subjective. I really like A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. I love that cover. It's so cute. But it's not like it's the prettiest cover I've ever seen. I just really like it. And also, I think A Theory of Dreaming by Ava Reed, who also wrote A Study in Drowning, which is all the way up there. Yeah, this book. I just feel like this book is so pretty. And the second book following this one is just as pretty, if not more. And that's the book I plan on reading, even though I haven't read this yet. So I gotta get to reading this too. A book on your shelf that you plan on reading for sure by the end of the year. I really need to get cracking on my books on the shelf. I just keep wanting to read The Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. I'm just really interested to read this book. It's basically a remarkable novel about JP Morgan's personal librarian Belle DaCosta Green, the Black American woman who was forced to hide her true identity and pass as white in order to leave a lasting legacy that enriched our nation. So she's basically passing as a white woman, but she's not. And she's just curating all these books for JP Morgan. No one knows. And she's so smart and she gets to kind of live in this society passing as a certain person when she's not. And I'm just so curious to see what her life story will be. I don't think this is an actually historically accurate book, but it does play off of something that kind of sort of happened. But I still think it's going to be a good read that I'm really interested to read. Next, a popular book that I've been seeing everywhere but I haven't read yet. That's gonna be Silver Elite and Lights Out. I have been seeing those two everywhere. I just know it's been making the rounds and okay, it's on my radar. I am aware of it. I'm just not sure if I'm going to read it. The book series that I want to finish by the end of this year, and that is going to be the Shatter Me series and the Natural series. I just really feel like those are the classic, very OG books that I should have finished by now, but have not. I still have the last 3 novels for the Shatter Me series, and then I have 2 of the novels for the Natural series. Gonna be finishing that by the end of this year. Hopefully. Book that's popular that I feel I might not like. I'm almost even scared to say this out loud. Alchemize by Sen Lin Yu. That is also a Dromoni fanfic. I feel like it's one of the most popular Dromoni fanfics, but I'm scared of it. It is, first of all, a huge book. And also, it's a very dark read, so I just don't know if I can handle all of the torturing that's going on, and I don't know what to expect. I just know that there's a lot of trigger warnings. It started off as a free fanfic because it had referenced Hermione and all the Harry Potter characters by their names. So technically, she couldn't sell the book. But now it's been picked up by a publisher and they're repackaging it with the different names but the same storyline. And I'm just hoping that it's made more digestible for the reader because it's just an incredibly long read, the original version anyway, so I'm hoping that the repackaged one is a little bit shorter. I don't know, I'll have to see. I just am not looking forward to the gory and the torturing, and I don't know what to expect. And that is it for this mid-year freakout book tag. I hope you guys had a good time. Maybe I've introduced you to some new books that you guys maybe want to read. But if you guys have any books that you guys want to say that fits a particular category for you, let me know. I'm really interested to see what you guys say about particular categories. I will list all of the categories down below, and then you guys can just answer them if you'd like. You don't even have to answer all of them. I just even want to know a few. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
You give me butterflies when you smile, and it feels so good. I just can't hide. I wanna hold your hand, but it get too shy. Just me and you.